I'm getting ready to create the designs for the chick feet. I have got the page from the printout, the PDF printout that's on Lori Holt's blog, or I've got a copy of it on my blog, powertoolswiththread.com, or there'll be a link to it below this video. If you bought a kit, this page from the kit, this is page 11, the one that I saw was incorrect. The pictures were very large. Even though this was scaled to 1 inch, that little square, the pictures were very big and they're the wrong scale. So you need to get the one from the blog in order to be able to have the right scale for the chickens, because the belly of the chick fits right here on that line. So we're going to scan this in. I'm actually going to make 4 different scans and make 4 different embroidery files for each one of these. That's how you'll have to do that, to make 4 different ones, so you can pull them up as you need them on each individual chicken with the chick. So I have the scanning mat in, I've got my little magnets on there, and I'm going to take you to the screen and show you how to do this. We're going to go into My Design Center, or you'll use IQ Design if you have a Solaris. And this is the scanning button up here, that little leaf. We're going to touch the leaf, and you want to do a line design. You've got image scan, line design, and illustration design. We're going to do line design. And it says get out your scanning mat, which I've already done. I'm just going to hit scan, and I'm going to tell it okay. It's going to make 4 passes of the mat. One thing I forgot to tell you is that I have taken a black Crayola marker and traced over the chick feet already, so it's nice and dark. I'm going to take these arrows here and zoom in on just one set of chick feet. I'll do the ones that have got multiple pieces in them so you can see how to do this. That's pretty good right there. And the grayscale detection, I'm going to drop it as low as it will go so it doesn't pick up too much on there. And I'm going to tell it okay. So what it saw is some lines that I don't need, but it did pick up the chick feet. So I'm just going to tell it set. Now I want to go into the zoom, touch the 100. I'm going to go up to 800. And I'm going to use the hand, and I'm going to pull this over. So there's my chick foot, one of them. I want to get my eraser, touch the eraser. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and maybe up to 30. It's real easy to erase the parts that you want to keep, so just kind of pay attention to that. I'm going to tell it okay. And now I'm just going to start erasing with my finger and get rid of all of those stitches that I don't want. So since I took the grayscale way down, it didn't pick up that box and all that. I'm going to take my hand and move it some more. I'm going to take my eraser. I'm going to go smaller. Tell it okay. You can also use the capacitive pen. See? Whoops. So if you make a boo-boo, hit the undo button. All right. This is a capacitive pen. It's in my Amazon store. It's from Mixu. I like it because it's got a tip I can use on my tablet too. And you can use this one, or you can use the one that came with the machine. I just like mine because it's a little bit smaller. I have a little bit better control. All right, let me go to 100 or 200 and take a look. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm all done. I'm going to tell it next. And so it has digitized the feet now. I'm going to go to width, which is this button right up here. Stitch width for the zigzag, I'm going to bring it down as low as it'll go to 0.40 and tell it okay. And then once you have that one down to the zigzag width that you want to touch, I'm going to tell it okay. And then I'm going to touch the other one. It is actually 2 separate stitch outs. So you want to touch the other one and then bring it down to the same stitch width and tell it okay. Once I get the second one done, I'm going to put it into memory here. So it's in the machine. So now it is memory in Design Center. And then I'm going to tell it set. And once I hit set, we're going to jump out of Design Center and into the embroidery mode as if we were working from the main menu and just touched embroidery. So I'm going to tell it set, and it says it's going to leave Design Center. I'm going to tell it okay. So there are our feet for right now. I do want to make a note, any of the chicks, if you are doing this with any of the designs that you've got set up already from either BES4 or Simply Applique, you're going to want to bring this in first and then do an add and then bring in the design of the chicken. Because if you do the chicken first and then the feet for the chick, you'll have a hard time getting that in the right order to stitch under the body of the chick, or in the case of Hattie, under Hattie's back as well. So that's it. I can hit embroidery now. Okay. And it's ready to go ahead and stitch that out. I recommend that you do a test. Pull out your 4x4 hoop and do a quick little test in a scrap first and see that you like that width. If you don't, you can certainly go back into that Design Center memory and then switch it out. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in the machine's memory now because I've already stitched this out and I liked it. And I'm going to put it in memory for the embroidery menu in the machine. So when you're getting ready to stitch these out, you would go to embroidery and go to the pocket for memory. And I'm going to pull up the chick feet first, because let's say I'm doing Hattie, okay? And I'll hit set. Great, that looks good. Now I'm going to go add and then memory. And I'm going to go to wireless because I sent the design wirelessly. And there's Hattie right there. Okay, and I'm going to tell it set. I put her name on there. I was just messing around. But now here at the bottom, there's a couple of select buttons right and left. And you can tell what's what by the red box with the red dots all around it. So the feet between the chick and Hattie are not selected right now, but I want to select those. So I'm going to hit the button one way or the other. And now there's a little red box around those feet. Now I can touch those feet and bring them up and put them, I want the feet to move, not the chicken. So I want the chicken to be centered. But, well, see, it's kind of tough. If you got your finger over it, you can't see what you're doing. There, that looks good just like that. And we're still in an edit mode right now. I haven't touched the blue embroidery key. That's how I could move it around. If I go to the chicken, I do want to edit. And I'm going to go to the rotate. And I'm going to touch, I prefer rotate because I can rotate it if I want to. In move, you can only move it, but in edit, you can rotate it or move it. I want to put the chicken in the center of the hoop, so I'm going to touch that button in the center, and that centered the chicken. And now I want to move the leg just a little bit. I'm going to touch the leg, and I'm going to nudge that up just a little bit. So now I can see that both of the legs are tucked under the bird of the chick and the chicken. I'm going to tell it okay. Now when I hit embroidery, now the legs, that is going to be the first stitch. And you can see right there with the black thread, that is going to stitch first. So because once you get here, there's really no way to rearrange the order of how these are going to stitch. So now it is ready to go. And if you want to add the lettering for the name on the chicken, if you think that might be cute, I would recommend doing it either in Simply Applique or in Brilliance, or you can hit return and you can go add, and then you can go into your lettering and use whatever font you want and build the name and bring it in as well. So there's a lot of customization you can do here, and that's exactly how that's going to stitch out. All right, so I think we're getting ready to stitch this out. I hope that helped. Whenever you have a quilt design that's got something that requires some hand stitching, you can always scan it into your machine as a line design and then go ahead and digitize it just like I did. Go sew something. Bye.